Technological Prepper focuses on guiding you to sources of information and products that can be used for the sole purpose of surviving a man-made or natural post-apocalyptic event. Please take all information on this channel with a grain of salt. You should always do your own research and be open-minded when learning new preparedness skills and information on the latest news. Therefore, you are aware that any information or talk of illegal acts or use of articles labeled later on as misinformation showed on this channel are for educational and entertainment uses only. We are not responsible for any misleading information used to commit any type of illegal act done by any of our viewers on this channel. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. I got a couple important articles here I want to share with you guys, mainly concerning our medical situations, and as preppers, we need to be preparing for this. So I'm going to go through here and read these out to you guys. This first article here is from nypost.com. And it says that foreign workers could replace New York's unjabbed hospital workers and nursing home staffers. It says that nearly 20% of workers at hospitals and nursing homes who refuse to get jabbed against the virus will be replaced, potentially by foreigners, once the state's mandate goes into effect next week, Governor Kathy Hochul said Wednesday. Hochul told reporters in Rochester that she hoped that all unjabbed employees would meet Monday's deadline. To those who won't, we'll be replacing people. And I have a plan that's going to be announced very shortly, she said. We've identified a whole range of opportunities. We have to help supplement them. Hochul said state officials were working closely with various hospital systems to find out where we can get other individuals to come in and supplement places like nursing homes. We're also reaching out to the Department of State to find out about visas for foreign workers on a limited basis to bring more nurses over here. As of September 15th, 19% of New York's hospital workers remain unjabbed, according to the state's health department figures. For nursing homes, the number was 18% as of Wednesday. After Monday, employers can fire unjabbed workers who don't have a valid medical exemption for getting the Employees who claim a religious exemption are also off the hook until at least October 12th. Due to the temporary restraining order issued by the Utica federal judge after 17 healthcare workers filed a religious exemption suit over the mandate. So we need to keep an eye on this stuff, guys, because we need our hospitals. And regardless of what you believe, whether it's them, people getting sick, whether it's people just not being jabbed, whether it's stress levels and workers just quitting, that's serious, and we need to pay attention to it. So we're going to move on to the next article here. This one is a little bit more recent. This is from NPR.org. It says that New York may use National Guard to replace unjabbed healthcare workers. This one is posted from September 26th. It says New York state officials are bracing for staffing shortages when the state's healthcare worker jab mandate takes effect on Monday, and could be looking to the National Guard as well as medical professionals from other states and countries to help address them. It says Governor Kathy Hochul released a plan on Saturday outlining the steps she could take to increase the workforce in the event that large numbers of hospital and nursing home employees do not meet the state's deadline. That could mean declaring a state of emergency to allow healthcare professionals licensed outside of New York, as well as recent graduates and retirees, to practice there. Other options include deploying medically trained National Guard members, partnering with the federal government to send disaster medical assistance teams to local health and medical systems, and exploring ways to expedite the visa request for medical professionals. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how much I'd trust these people either. Just my opinion, but they're going to be pushing them in there so quick, I just don't know how much I trust them with taking care of me. The state's Labor Department has also issued guidance clarifying that workers who were terminated because they refused to be jabbed will not be eligible for unemployment insurance, absent a valid doctor's approved request for medical accommodation. That's not good. All healthcare workers at New York's hospitals and nursing homes are required to have at least one dose of the virus jab by Monday, according to the state regulations and mandates issued by former Governor Andrew Cuomo last month. Staff and other institutions, including home care, hospice, and adult care facilities, must be jabbed by October 7th. The most recent numbers suggest that the state still has a way to go. As of Wednesday, 84% of all hospital employees were fully jabbed, and 81% of staff at all adult care facilities, and 77% of nursing home facility staff were fully jabbed as of Thursday. It says healthcare systems statewide and nationally are already struggling with staffing shortages. Critics of the requirement have challenged it through protest and lawsuits, as North County Public Radio reports, opposing mandatory jab and challenging the lack of exemptions for religious objections. At this point, healthcare workers have the option to apply for a religious exemption until at least October 12th, when a federal judge will consider a legal challenge in favor of such exemptions. As hospitals readied their contingency plans, which for many includes limiting certain procedures, as of late last week, Hochul held firm to the deadline. She told reporters on Thursday that there are no excuses for workers refusing to get jabbed and called the impending shortages completely unavoidable. Or completely avoidable. That's crazy. Like, how is that all our fault? Like I said, I think people are also quitting because they're just stressed. They don't want to deal with the drama, essentially. I mean, we deal with it already in normal factory workplaces and things like that all the time. We're dealing with half the employees being jabbed, the other half not being jabbed. Everybody has their opinions, everybody has their differences, and it's just stressful. It's kind of understandable. And I'm sure people are getting sick out there, and they're stressed. And a lot of them are just trying to find better ways to make a living that doesn't stress them out so bad. Because they kind of contradict themselves in these articles, saying that, we were having shortages anyways, it was going to happen regardless, but now they're saying here, oh, this was completely avoidable if you guys would have just got your jab. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. It says how healthcare systems are preparing for the deadline. It says hospital systems and nursing homes across the state are encouraging their employees to get jabbed and preparing for disruptions if they do not. Some are cutting back on elective surgeries, limiting admissions, and retaining volunteers. Erie County Medical Center Corporation in Buffalo anticipates that roughly 10% of its workforce, some 400 workers, may not get jabbed by Monday, according to the AP, and is prepared to potentially suspend elective inpatient surgeries, reduce hours at outpatient clinics, and temporarily stop accepting ICU transfers. That right there is important. Because if we get hurt, we get really sick, some of these hospitals might not be accepting people, whether you think that it's real or not. They're bluntly telling us all the time that they have to stop things. Just be keeping an eye out for that. Make sure you're geared up and prepared and ready for this stuff, guys. You need to be ready to take care of yourself and each other as much as possible. As NPR has reported, Lewis County General Hospital in Louisville, New York, said it would pause maternity services starting this weekend because dozens of staff members quit rather than get jabbed. So once again, they're blaming that on getting the jab, and I did a video on that not too long ago explaining that you would have to drive roughly 50 miles away to get to the nearest hospital. So even if you have plans to deliver your baby at the hospital, I would be also just in case making backup plans for doing a home birth. And they do sell home birth kits and a lot of books and things like that you can learn and study online. If you just look up home birthing kits, you can find a lot of good resources on that. But once again, they're telling you right here, it's because people are not getting the jab. So, says Dr. Michael Pastelakos, its chief medical officer, said that critical care and many critical services will continue uninterrupted, but staffing shortages unrelated to the mandate are prompting a pause in some services. Patients will see longer wait times for routine appointments. Some employees will be asked to take in additional responsibilities. Beds could be temporarily closed. President Biden announced earlier this month that the 17 million healthcare workers at facilities that receive Medicare or Medicaid funding will have to be jabbed or regularly tested, with details to be finalized in the weeks ahead. While such workplace requirements have the support of many public health experts and more than half of the nurses, according to one recent survey, some politicians and hospital officials have expressed concerns, and that's especially true in rural areas, where jab rates are low and hiring is already difficult. It remains to be seen how severe staffing shortages will be in New York and elsewhere. though the state has already enacted a healthcare worker jab mandate and could serve at one data point. Maine's governor announced a mandate for healthcare workers in mid-August, and hospitals are only reporting a handful of resignations so far through their enforcement though the enforcement does not start until October 29th. So like I said, guys, be wary that the hospitals can start losing their staff, start denying you services, and you may need to stay home and take care of yourself. You should be prepared to take care of yourself and others because medical is a very important part of preparing. And I know there's a lot of natural ways to do things, so looking into that is great. There's a lot of people too, though, that can't really just go out in the wilderness and get medicines and things like that if they started to run out. So having a decent stockpile of these things is wise, but keep in mind that a lot of medications too expire. So I will put down in the description below all of the different medical items that I have personally. I like to buy a lot of these things in bulk and keep them at the house, and then I will separate them and put them into waterproof baggies and then stick that into my go bag that I leave in my car at all times and I take around with me. So feel free to go down there and check that out. I'll also leave a link down below to my favorite book that you can use to get educated, and you can also use it in a post-apocalyptic event. There's a lot of different things in there that are for those kind of situations where there is no more hospitals. So go check that out, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching.